The galactic arena buzzed with energy. Tall insectoid warriors from Zarnok flexed their spiked arms. Massive bear-like creatures from Volton slammed their fists together, roaring in excitement. Armored lizards from Kelver hissed and sharpened their claws. All around, the newest recruits of the Galactic Defense Force trained for war. In the middle of it all, a small group stood quietly. Humans, they wore simple armor, thinner than anyone else's. Their weapons looked outdated. No claws, no glowing eyes, no cybernetic limbs, just humans. One tall alien, Commander Ratak of the Varkun Empire, pointed at them and laughed loudly. "Why are these soft planet children here?" he roared. "Do they plan to fight with their feelings?" His squad of reptilian soldiers burst into laughter, but the humans didn't react. They stood still, calm, watching. Among them was Captain Lena Cross, a woman with short brown hair and sharp gray eyes. She said nothing. Her team didn't smile, didn't frown. They simply observed. They weren't here to prove anything. Not yet. At lunch in the mess hall, more jokes flew. A feathered alien nudged his friend. "Careful not to sneeze near the humans. You might break them." Another alien held up a spoon. "Their earth knives are duller than this." The mocking never stopped, but the humans didn't answer. They listened, they trained, they stayed quiet. The truth was, this was the first time humans had been accepted into the Galactic Defense Force. Earth had joined the Council only a few years ago. Most aliens didn't take them seriously. No special weapons, no war history, no genetic upgrades, just plain humans. That night, inside the command center of the base, a blinking red light began to flash. A distress beacon, old, dusty, almost forgotten. The signal came from deep space, from a ship last seen during the Kelvin War more than 20 years ago. The ship's ID flashed across the screen. HSS Trident Human Starship. The alien officers gathered around. Admiral Norik, a cybernetic being from Sarn, squinted at the display. "That ship was lost decades ago," he said. "Probably scrapped now. Could be space junk." Rutak leaned back in his chair. "Maybe it's just a glitch. Humans build weak tech." Most nodded in agreement. They were about to turn off the alert. But then Captain Lena Cross stepped forward. "We'll go," she said. "It's the room." Went silent, Rutak scoffed. "You that deep in space?" "With your gear," Lena didn't blink. "It's our ship, our people." "We'll go." Admiral Norik stared at her. "No backup, no support. If it's a trap, you're on your own." "We understand," Lena said. Behind her, the human squad rose from their chairs. Quiet. Ready. As they boarded their small cruiser, the ESS Raven, the alien recruits gathered to watch. Dead in a day, someone whispered. "Let them try. Maybe we won't have to see them again." The ship lifted off, engines humming softly. No flashy design, no glowing shields, just simple steel. Built by human hands. As the Raven disappeared into the stars, a few aliens laughed one last time. But far away, past forgotten stars and cold black space, the HSS Trident waited. Lights still blinked, its systems still breathed. And deep inside its silent halls, something began to wake up. The ship floated in silence. HSS Trident, a human ship lost for 20 years, drifted near a dead moon, its lights faint, its hull scarred by old battles. No one had touched it in decades. Inside, something flickered. A screen blinked to life. A voice, soft and broken, whispered, ... crew, ... status, ... unknown, ... danger. Classified. The S-Raven approached slowly. Inside, Captain Lena Cross stared at the ship's shadowy form through the window. No defense systems active, no movement, just a ghost in space. "Prepare boarding team," she said calmly. But no one knew what they would find inside. Main story. The ESS Raven docked with the old human vessel. The Trident's outer hull was covered in asteroid dust and battle damage. No life signs. But the ship's power was still on, barely. Captain Lena Cross led the boarding team. 4 human soldiers followed her, including Sergeant Caleb, the team's engineer. The docking bay door groaned as it opened. Air hissed out. Lights flickered. Inside the Trident, it was dark and cold. "Keep masks on," Lena ordered. "Scan everything." The crew moved through the empty halls. Walls were scratched, signs of a struggle, bullet holes, burn marks. But no bodies. Where was the crew? They reached the bridge. Monitors blinked weakly. Screens were cracked. Caleb connected his data pad and tried to recover logs. Sistos. "Corrupted," he muttered. "But there's a log file." Last entry. 20 years ago, he pressed play. A shaky recording played. A bearded man in a torn captain's uniform stared into the camera. "This is Captain Hale of the HSS Trident. We were ambushed. Unknown enemy, not pirates, not aliens. Something else," they single quotes read ... already inside. Then static. Then one final sentence. "If anyone finds this, do not trust the silence." The video ended. Everyone stood still. "What does that mean?" one soldier asked. But Lena already knew. This ship wasn't empty. As they moved deeper into the ship, strange things began to happen. Footsteps echoed, but no one moved. A door slammed behind them. No power. One soldier thought he saw a shadow crawl across the ceiling. But when they looked, nothing was there. Caleb's scanner started beeping. "There's movement below deck," he whispered. "Life signs?" Lena asked. He shook his head. "No, but something is alive down there or awake." They followed. The signal through a maintenance shaft. Down into the lower levels. The air grew thicker, warmer. Lights flickered faster. Something was humming in the walls like a heartbeat. They reached a sealed chamber. The door had strange markings, human symbols, but rewritten, twisted, as if someone or something had scratched over them. Lena placed her hand on the door. It opened. Inside was a round room with a large glass tank in the center. And inside that tank floated a human body. Still, eyes closed, pale, but alive. The monitors nearby showed something strange. Brain activity extremely high. Body status, stasis, experimental phase. "What is this?" Caleb whispered. Lena stepped closer. "I think this was a test subject, a weapon, or something more." Suddenly, the monitors flashed red. Stasis interrupted. "Activation in 10, 9, 8. Everyone backed away. "Shut it down." Lena shouted, "I can't." Caleb yelled, "It's locked. 7, 6, 5. The lights turned red. 4, 3. The humming grew louder. 2, 1. The tank cracked. Final scene, the glass exploded outward. The body collapsed to the floor, gasping for air. Eyes opened, glowing faint blue. He looked up at Lena, whispered, "Where ... is the war?" Then he fainted. Everyone stood frozen. The Trident wasn't just a ghost ship. It was a vault and something human, but different. It just awakened. The crew of the ESS Raven sat in silence. The man from the tank, pale skin, glowing blue eyes, and deep scars across his body, lay unconscious on the medbay table. Machines beeped around him, trying to understand what he was. Captain Lena. Cross watched through the glass wall. She didn't blink. "Human," the medical AI said. But ... enhanced, Caleb muttered. "What kind of enhancement?" Lena asked. The AI paused, unknown. "Genetic modifications not found in current Earth records. This soldier is ... old. Older than any of you. And stronger." Outside the window, the Trident drifted in space. And deep inside it, something else had awakened too. Main story. The man woke up slowly. He sat up, breathing fast, eyes wide with confusion. Easy, Lena said gently. You're safe. We're from Earth, from the Galactic Defense Force. He looked at her. Earth still stands. Lena nodded. Yes, but we found your ship abandoned. No crew, just you. The man's voice was rough. Name's Ash Keller. Rank doesn't matter anymore. I was part of Project Red Dust. Caleb's eyes widened. That project was canceled a century ago. Ash blinked. Only a century. He stood up, muscles moving like steel cables. His movements were sharp, precise. Not like a man who had slept for 100 years, more like a predator that had just been unleashed. Flashback. Told by Ash, Ash explained what happened aboard the HSS Trident. It wasn't pirates, he said. It wasn't war either. It was a test. The Trident had been chosen as the trial site for Project Red Dust, a human experiment to create faster, stronger, smarter soldiers using alien DNA and a classified red powder extracted from deep inside Mars. Ash was the first success. Then, the ship came under attack, but not from outside. The tests went wrong. Other test subjects mutated, lost control. The crew tried to contain them, but failed. Ash did the unthinkable. I locked myself in the vault, he said. I was the only one left. I shut it all down. He stared at Lena. If I'm awake now, something's gone wrong. Suspense builds. Suddenly, alarms blared on the Raven. Caleb checked the console. There's movement in the Trident. Multiple heat signatures. Lena's heart sank. That ship was empty. Ash stood tall. No, it was asleep. They rushed back through the connecting tunnel to the Trident. Inside, the lights flickered again. Doors opened and shut by themselves. Shadows moved across. The hall. Caleb scanned. It's not just one or two. There are dozens of life forms now. Ash grabbed a discarded rifle from the wall. Old tech. But he handled it like it was made for him. I'll go in first, he said. No. Lena stepped forward. You're not alone anymore. Climax scene. They reached the lower level, the same place where Ash had been found. Now the chamber glowed red. From the shadows twisted. Figures emerged, once human, now not. Their skin pulsed. They hissed like animals. These were the others, Ash said quietly. They didn't survive the change. Caleb whispered, they're still alive. Ash shook his head. They're not human anymore. Lena raised her weapon. Then we end this. The creatures lunged. Ash moved first, faster than any of them could see, with one punch. He broke through a creature's chest. The others opened fire. Ash didn't stop. Lena and her team backed him up, fighting, shooting, dodging. But it was Ash who turned the tide. One man against monsters from the past. Its final scene. When the battle ended, the floor was covered in smoke and sparks. Ash stood in the middle, breathing hard. Only two of the creatures escaped into the shadows of the ship. Lena looked at him. You're a weapon. Ash nodded. I was made for war. She stepped closer. Well, we might need you again. Ash looked around, eyes cold. Then you need to understand one thing. If those creatures escaped, Earth is in danger. Across the galaxy, a silent ship drifted toward a blue-green world. It had no crew, no signal. Just two dark shapes hiding inside, breathing, watching, waiting. Back on the Galactic station, alarms sounded. But no one noticed. A single file blinked in red inside the Earth's Defense Command. Trident containment breach unconfirmed. Life forms inbound. A technician looked at it, confused. Then the screen went black. Main story. Inside the S-Raven, Lena and her crew stared at the holomap. Two blinking dots moved fast away from the Trident, toward Earth. They're using the emergency escape pods, Caleb said. Speed slow, but they'll reach Earth in 2 days. Lena clenched her jaw. We have to warn command. Ash stood behind her, quiet but tense. No, he said. You need to stop them before they get there. Caleb raised an eyebrow. Can't Earth handle 2 creatures? Ash turned toward him. You don't understand? These things don't just fight. They infect. The room fell silent. Ash's warning. Ash explained more. During the red dust trials, some test subjects didn't die. They changed. They developed the ability to pass the mutation through blood, bites, or even breath. It's not just about strength, he said. It spreads fast. He looked at Lena. If they reach Earth in a week, you won't have a planet left. Lena nodded. Then we go after them. Now, the chase begins. The crew launched the Raven into pursuit. Wasn't easy. The escape pods were small, fast, hard to track. They followed faint radiation trails, old debris paths, anything they could. Caleb worked nonstop at the nav console. Sweat covered his face. Got them. He shouted, "Course adjusted. We'll intercept near asteroid belt Gamo 17. Lena loaded her weapon. We stopped them there. Grabbed his gear, an old combat suit marked Red Dust 01. This ends now, he said. Ambush at the belt, near Gamma 17, floating rocks the size of cities filled space. The Raven slowed. Lena whispered, "Any sign of them?" Caleb shook his head. Too quiet. Suddenly, impact. The ship rocked hard. Lights flickered. Alarms. Screamed. "They're on our hull," Caleb yelled. Ash grabbed his helmet. "Stay inside. I'll take care of it." He launched from the airlock, flying through space, toward the outer shell. Fight in the stars, Ash landed on the hull, magnet boots locking on. One of the escaped creatures, larger than before, growled and rushed him. Ash dodged, slammed his elbow into its spine, and flipped it off into space. But the second one was smarter. It had already broken through the outer panel, crawling toward the engine room. Ash punched through metal to follow it. Inside the wall tunnels, sparks flew. The creature hissed, fast. Silent, Ash grabbed a live wire and shoved it into the creature's chest. Electricity lit up the corridor. The creature screamed. But it didn't die. "They're stronger now," Ash whispered. Lena's plan, back on the bridge. Lena saw the threat. "They're evolving," she said. "Each moment they survive, they get harder to kill." She turned to Caleb. "We need to trap them. Use the airlocks." Caleb nodded. "Seal all decks except engineering. Force them into one space." Ash's voice came through the comms. "Do it fast. Final confrontation." They lured the last creature into the cargo bay. Inside, Lena, Ash, and two armed crew waited. The creature entered taller now, bone armor growing from its shoulders, eyes glowing red. Ash didn't hesitate. He ran straight at it. The others opened fire. Bullets didn't stop it, but slowed it. Ash tackled it into the wall. "Now," he shouted. Lena hit the control. The cargo door blew open, and both Ash and the creature were pulled into space. Final scene, silence. Then Caleb shouted, "I see movement." Ash floated outside, holding onto a tether line, but the creature was gone. Lena helped him back inside. "You okay?" she asked. Ash nodded, breath heavy. "One's dead, but the other, I don't know." They checked the sensors. Only one escape pod showed on the scanners now, still heading toward Earth. Faster, smarter, stronger. Lena's eyes narrowed. "We have to get there first." Earth looked peaceful, from orbit clouds floating, oceans shining, cities glowing like stars. But down below, in the dark corners of forgotten towns, strange things were happening. A child in New Arizona drew pictures of a red-eyed man who whispered in dreams. In a village near the Arctic Circle, a wolf pack stopped hunting, too afraid to enter a nearby cave. And deep inside an old military lab, a monitor blinked. Unknown signal detected red dust. Active the alien. Creature had arrived. But no one was ready for what would happen next. Main story. Lena's ship, S. Raven, entered Earth orbit in emergency mode. Caleb checked the sensors. The escape pod landed in the northern wastes. No population nearby. Still no communication. From Earth Command, Ash leaned forward. "That's not normal. Earth has too many eyes to miss something like this." Lena's face grew tense. "Unless it's already spreading." They launched a scout drone to confirm the landing site. What they saw made Lena's blood run cold. A small human research outpost, Site Eco 17, once shut down for budget cuts, was now active again. Lights on, power running. But no humans inside. The first sign inside the outpost, the team moved carefully. The place looked untouched, but something was off. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just silence. Caleb opened a locker. It was full of earth rations, but half of them were open, covered in a black fungus. Ash picked up a piece with a glove. It's using our food to grow. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Lena turned toward the hallway. Footsteps, very fast, very heavy. Then silence again. The hallway was empty, but something had seen them. Back at HQ, Earth Defense Command, far away in New London, finally received Lena's alert. But they hesitated. General Knox frowned. "You're saying one creature escaped and could infect a continent?" Lena's voice was sharp. "It's not one anymore. It never was." She uploaded drone footage, red dust spreading in soil, birds acting erratic, trees with veins glowing faint red. Ash stepped into the view. "It's adapting faster than any virus. Ash, this is not a fight against claws and teeth. This is a war for biology itself." The general paused, then ordered Earth into level red bio-lockdown for the first time in 200 years. The reveal, Ash, Lena, and Caleb explored deeper underground in the outpost. There, they found Experiment Chamber Z. A human scientist journal was still inside. The last page read, "We never created it. Was already here, buried deep. We just woke it up with the red dust." Ash clenched the book. This wasn't a human weapon. It was a prison. Suddenly, alarms blared. The door slammed shut. Something was inside the chamber with them. Its figure stepped from the shadows. It looked human, face calm, eyes glowing red. It spoke, "Thank you for bringing me home." Fight underground. The figure attacked with unnatural speed. Ash tackled, it driving his fist into its ribs. Bones cracked, but it didn't scream. Lena fired her shock rifle, no effect. Caleb activated the chamber's emergency purge, high-pressure gas, and UV light. The creature howled, its skin burned, fled into the ventilation system. Ash stood up, bleeding. "It's learning to mimic us. It wants Earth to think it's human, racing against time." The Raven's crew sent a message to Earth. "This thing doesn't want to destroy humanity. It wants to become humanity. If it reached a city, it could disappear into the population. Then the war would be over before anyone knew it started." Lena said one thing: "We stop it here, no matter the cost." End scene. Far away in a crowded subway in New Berlin, a man sat alone. He smiled politely, wore a clean suit, carried a briefcase. No one noticed his red eyes. He looked around at the people, then whispered, "Soon." The creature walked among them now, wearing a human face, smiling, breathing. No one could tell it wasn't one of them. Far above, in orbit, Lena, Ash, and Caleb watched from the S-Raven, Earth's last hope. And deep inside Earth's hidden vaults, the protocol was activated. Main story: General Knox stood inside the Earth defense bunker, staring at a glowing screen. "We hoped we'd never need it." His assistant swallowed hard. "Do we tell the council?" The general shook his head. "No, this is humanity's problem, and we'll solve it our way." Behind him, the words "Project Clean Sweep" flashed. Red. The truth revealed. Back on the Raven, Lena replayed the scientist's final log. The red dust doesn't just infect. It learns. Every person it touches, it copies. It thinks it's helping, evolving us, replacing us. Ash clenched his jaw. It doesn't want war. It wants to become Earth. But Earth wasn't done yet, 'cause humans had a secret, no? Alien understood. When pushed to the edge, humans adapt to. The counterattack begins. Caleb tapped a secure channel. Uploading Earth's final weapon. The file name? Arc_gene_fire, Lena explained. It's a DNA-based weapon, made to attack only organisms mimicking human biology, but not real humans. Ash raised an eyebrow. How'd we build something like that? Lena answered calmly. Because we always knew something like this would come. She looked at him. This is Earth. We planned for doomsday before breakfast. Street level. War, meanwhile, in the streets of New Berlin. The creature walked freely now. Every step it took infected more. People it touched forgot who they were. Eyes turned red. Voices became one. But then something changed. The air grew thick. High-pitched sounds spread, and suddenly the infected screamed. Their skin blistered, their bodies convulsed. The Arc-gene fire had arrived. Alien reaction. Across the galaxy, the Galactic Council watched in silence. Ambassador Vaughn of the Creel said, "They're burning their own cities." A Draxan general nodded. "And they're not even hesitating." Another alien whispered, "We thought humans were soft." The room fell silent. On the screen, a human captain stood among burning ruins holding a fallen comrade. Then he looked at the camera. "This is what we do when we're pushed. We fight, we burn, we rise." The final battle in the mountains of North Asia. The last cluster of the red dust creature tried to escape into the deep tunnels. But waiting there was Lena's team. Lena, Ash, and Caleb wore custom biosuits and breakable fireproof DNA locked. Behind them, a large device powered up. The solar core bomb. Caleb asked, "Are we really doing this?" Lena didn't hesitate. "If it spreads again, we're done." They stood together. The countdown began. 10. 8. Sacrifice. Just before the blast, the creature, now a tall red-eyed man, appeared. It looked almost human. It whispered, "We could have made you perfect." Lena aimed her weapon. "We already are." The bomb exploded. The mountain melted. The last of the red dust burned. Aftermath, weeks passed. Earth slowly healed. Humans mourned, rebuilt, and remembered. They told stories of courage, sacrifice, and the quiet strength of choosing to fight back. The aliens, once mocking humanity, now watched with new eyes. Not afraid, but respectful, 'cause now they knew. Humans may look weak, but when darkness comes, we become fire. Final scene. A young alien cadet sat in a galactic classroom. He raised his hand. "Teacher, what happened when Earth was attacked?" The teacher smiled and pointed to the screen. It showed 3 names: Lena Rhodes, Ash Tenor, Caleb Ricks. The words under it, "The ones who burned to save us all that." The teacher said is what humans did next.